Hello, welcome to Lemon Series, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Share and to leave a like. Comment below, let me know your thoughts on Monday Night Raw, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So yeah, the first Raw post-Royal Rumble. We are officially on the road to WrestleMania. The WrestleMania sign is now up, and I swear it's bigger than ever. But I have heard that they add 2 feet to every single sign, so it makes sense. But yeah, that was literally my first thought when I saw it. I was like, damn, that's one big ass sign. But yeah, it's officially on the road. Are we off to a good start? Are we off to a bumpy start? And I would say overall, this episode of Monday Night Raw was very interesting. Now, it ended very good, where I was like, yes, give me my money match right now. And we'll get right to it, right? Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Now, I'll be honest, I was one of the pessimists when Roman was announced. One, I didn't think he needed to come. I was one of the people who was okay with him not showing up until Elimination Chamber, simply because of what we did last year with Jey Uso and Charlotte Flair. They announced who their pick was maybe 2 weeks after, or somewhere in between, on the road to the Elimination Chamber. And within that, their road was so long, and that feud was already announced. And Gunther didn't defend his title at Elimination Chamber, and Tiffany Stratton didn't defend her title at Elimination Chamber. So we were locked into those stories throughout. Man, I swear it was like a 14-week build, maybe even a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter, but it felt pretty long is what I'm trying to say. Like, the stories were really ran thin. And, of course, Charlotte and Tiffany kind of ran off the rails here and there. And again, Jay and Gunther took a little bit to get going in order for the story to finally hit that second notch. Not until, Gunther freaking busted open Jimmy is when I was like, okay, now this story is officially starting to feel like a WrestleMania program. So I was completely okay. Due to that, I was completely okay with Roman showing up at Chicago, because obviously CM Punk is going to face Finn Balor at Elimination Chamber. After CM Punk wins, Roman Reigns spears him and says, I'm challenging you at WrestleMania, making it a lock. And then, boom, we're off for the races. And then that following Monday, we get this program. But I'm not going to stand on ceremony. When Roman came out and he was doing his whole shtick, I really thought we were just going to get the normal aura loading for like 5 minutes, talk about the history of both Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, say he doesn't have a decision yet, but he has a lot to think about, and whoever he chooses will have to acknowledge him, and therefore he was going to leave. But nope, we didn't do that. He already made his choice. He's going to pick CM Punk. We're not staring at a ceremony here, Mr. Wayne. And we had a hell of a promo off between these two. Now, some of the things I want to talk about, just because those were the main talking points on the internet. Drew McIntyre, he caught some strays, right? Now, I'm not going to say that they didn't, take shots at him. They absolutely did. But I don't think they buried Drew whatsoever. Now, Drew's obviously going to rebuttal on Friday. Or, God, he should. If he doesn't, then, there might be a slight problem there. But, again, if you take wrestling as real, CM Punk's never going to say anything nice about the guy because, they hate each other. They fought each other inside Hell in a Cell. So, yes, he's going to put him down. CM Punk is the leader of Monday Night Raw in a lot of ways because he's the world champ. So, yes, he's going to put the show down. Like, it just made sense to me, if you were to buy in that this is real. Now, everything needs to be, sold as great in order for it to make sense. Yeah, sometimes you need to go, I hate that guy, so therefore he is the easier route. And, Roman did try to defend him in some ways, going, look, he's like 4 times bigger than you, and he had you mad over a damn friendship bracelet. I don't know why I wasn't able to talk. And then, he's talking about, CM Punk's talking about how, oh, well, I beat him. And then Roman's like, well, I beat him. He goes, oh, yeah? You and your cousins, because you always needed help in order to beat Drew McIntyre. So, therefore, in that ways, I feel like they did protect him in some way, shape, or form. Now, as long as it comes to Friday going, look, I'm not even involved in that, but yet I'm the center of their attention. Punk, I did beat you up. Like, I left you in a bloody pulp multiple times throughout our battles. And Roman, again, you have yet to beat me one-on-one straight up. So whenever you actually want that fight, and I will beat you because you don't have help, I'll be waiting with the title. That's all Drew needs to say in order to even out the playing field to me. So again, everyone's saying, oh, they buried Drew, and they buried Drew's title, and they buried SmackDown. I just really digress and disagree with that. Now, I will say, even though I don't think they bury them, I do think the Friday night main event program really needs to light some fire in order to compete with this, because as of right now, I do think Punk and Roman are a lock for the Night 2 main event, and I really don't see that going away any way, shape, or form, because again, the things they said, they let them just talk off the rip. I really do feel like there was no producer for this segment. I really wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. If they're just like, look, sell me my main event. I really wouldn't be surprised if Triple H told both Roman and Punk that. Roman kept calling him Phil, and, it just felt very real and personal. I liked Punk's line of going like, look, you took all of my ideas. You had Paul Heyman by your side. You had a really long reign. Yes, mine was 434. Yours was 1,316. But guess what, Roman? Just because you did it longer doesn't mean you did it better. That was a really good line. Now, I think both reigns are really good. I just think it depends on your preference. Punk did defend the title more, even though he held it for significantly less days than him. Almost 900 less days for that matter, I think. I could be wrong on my math on that. But it was significantly less days than Roman held the belt, right? But he had more title defenses. Roman, I would argue, had better programs overall. So again, just depends on where you play on that. Roman coming back at him saying, because, Punk was also making fun of Roman about his part-time schedule. He said he respects him, but, he's a real fighting champion, and he's willing to go to Poland and all these different cities while Roman's immediate rebuttal to deflate. It was almost like a rap battle in a lot of ways. Going, yeah, you're only going to all those cities because you took a 10-year vacation and now you're trying to play catch up. Like, that was a really good rebuttal that he had to him. And then we got bringing up the podcast, going, because Punk brought up how if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have been called up because I created the Shield. And he goes, well, if it wasn't for you going on your little friend's podcast, you made my life much harder than it needed to be, talking about that 3-on-1 handicap match of Survivor Series where everyone backstage just kept telling Punk, you need to make Roman look strong. And yeah, I think there is some truth to that. Now, look, the Big Dog character, I overall actually liked. I'm one of the few defenders of the Big Dog character. Now, if it's between the Big Dog or the Tribal Chief, oh, give me the Tribal Chief any day of the week. But a lot of people didn't like the Big Dog character, and that was due to some of the lines that WWE will make him have. He was not able to have the free range that he does now as the Tribal Chief. They were trying to make Roman into something that he wasn't, right? Again, as someone who was naive and didn't know about a Tribal Chief character earlier on, I didn't mind the Big Dog. I actually kind of liked him. Now, as I see the Tribal Chief, yeah, the Big Dog, I don't know what we were doing. Even like the rose-colored glasses have left my eyes. But what Punk said during that podcast where people were picking sides and they really wanted Punk's side, that also added fuel to the fire. And you can hear it in Roman's voice that he does truly believe that. And when we get to those final words of like, I'm not picking you because you are the better champion. I'm not picking you because you're the best in the world. I'm not picking you because you are on the better show. I'm picking you because I hate you. Like, again, the malice. Like, even Zootopia 2 got brought up in this promo when he was talking about, yeah, when I shook your hand and we were saying some Zebros or some bullshit like that. And then that final acknowledge me, and I love a good wraparound where, the promo starts off with him saying, hey, Philly, acknowledge me, it's playful. And then this final one, it goes, you will, or WrestleMania is going to be the happiest day of my life because you will acknowledge me. And he said, like, it was like a roar, like he was lying in a lot of ways. And he storms off. Like, I rewatched that final line a lot, quite frequently throughout the day because a lot of people reposted it. And, it was a good line. And you can hear the crowd. Like, there's one person that literally goes, yee! Like, after he says that, because that locks in the title program. And I also really, again, the significance of that line too, not just because that is his catchphrase, but it has so much weight, but also when Punk first showed up, he didn't acknowledge Roman. He acknowledged Finn Balor, which is obviously going to be the side quest, and that's okay. I would assume Roman's not going to be there for 3 more weeks. until after the Elimination Chamber, Roman will not be back because CM Punk has to deal with Finn Balor. And if that's the way that they have to fight in order to make Finn Balor see the light and turn into a baby face, then by all means, let's do it. It's pretty... Yes, sure, it gives it away that CM Punk's going to win, but I feel like we already knew that to begin with. So yeah, no notes when it came to that promo battle between the two. I don't know how they're going to top it because that's a very, very strong start, and I'm already ready for April 19th. It could be the April 18th main event, which is fine because April 18th is my birthday, so that would be a great birthday present for WWE to give me. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to wait one more day in order to see that match because it's going to be the Night 2 main event. Because, again, I'm pretty locked in unless somehow SmackDown is able to top that, which I have my doubts when it comes to. As for the rest of the Raw, it was fine. I actually really like the Obafemi stuff. I really don't understand the whiplash that people are having when it comes to the booking. And it happened within two segments in this show. One, the Obafemi, because everyone's like, yeah, Obafemi looks like a monster and he needs to destroy some people. So we're going to have him destroy the Viking Raiders, who have they're not the Viking Raiders anymore, the War Raiders, sorry. God. But yeah, he's going to destroy the War Raiders. They're not really on TV featured that much. They're not really in the World Tag Team program. And it would be a really cool visual with Oba lifting them up like babies. And it was really cool. Then you go online, oh, well, they shouldn't have done that to the Viking Raiders. Like, what? Sometimes some people are going to have to just go, hey, it's not your night. And we're going to need you to do the job because we really need to get this person over. That's what the War Raiders were doing. They were doing their job in order to get Obafemi over. I would imagine he's going to do the same thing with another tag team on Friday, since we're going to do this free agent storyline. I actually really liked everything that we did with Oba quite a bit. And then with Gunther, he does the whole troll job, coming out to AJ Styles' music. It popped me really big. I thought that was very, very funny. And then, Dragon Lee comes out because, they were tag team champions. And Gunther dismantles him. Like, yeah, sure, Dragon Lee had a little bit of offense here and there. But really, it was just sell job. We even had the little hanging over the ramp. It was a really cool visual. And people were like, well, we should have done that to Dragon Lee. He's not fully established yet. Yeah, Dragon Lee can handle the loss because all he can do is just climb back up. Like, I don't know. I didn't see any problem with the Gunther segment at all. So those were really two big highs when it comes to this Monday Night Raw episode. One thing that was interesting was the El Grande Americano stuff. I'm not sure why Gable is going to be the one working babyface. I would assume at WrestleMania, which is a video that is coming up pretty soon this week, my predicted WrestleMania card post Royal Rumble, is that we are going to do El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano in a mask versus mask match, right? It just seems like what we're going to do. But why is Gable working babyface? Granted, he got cheered here, but on AAA, Ludwig Kaiser's El Grande Americano is the one that's getting cheered, and they're treating him like a babyface. And, honestly, to me, Kaiser does the gimmick better. And I think Kaiser should win the program. And Chad Gable should go back to being, well, Chad Gable for that matter. So I was really interested by that. As for the El Grande versus Javon Evans match, it was fun. I mean, it's Javon Evans. He's a lot of fun to watch. The Bella Twin stuff, I mean, it was okay. There's not really much to program about. I feel like they got played off. Like, it just felt like it ended very abruptly. And I really do. Some people are upset about it, and, probably rightfully so. But I honestly didn't mind that Nikki Bella turned face simply because her sister showed up. I found that very funny. But also, Nikki was going to play heel because she thought the crowd was booing, but they were chanting for her man's Coop. And when she realized that she played it up, I thought, again, that was very funny. But yeah, but what I mainly found funny was that the Bella Twins were now baby faces simply because Brie Bella was there. I mean, people were crying when she came out. That was wild. Again, you cannot estimate what the Bella Twins have meant to this women's division and part of the Revolution, whether you like them or not. I would have had that reaction to seeing them cry, but man, that was actually pretty sweet to see. So yeah, again, overall, I mean, not Austin Theory. Bronson Reed versus Penta was okay. I wasn't a huge fan of the count-out finish. Everything we did with Braun Breaker at the beginning portion was really cool. But again, that's going to be something that we're going to see throughout the weeks. A lot of people are pretty sure now Seth Rollins is going to be good to go for WrestleMania. I'm still holding my doubts on it. I still think maybe the masked man might be Logan Paul, since he was so ready to just say, hey, we're going to let Braun Breaker win the Royal Rumble, and yet he was in the Final Four. So I think maybe we'll do Braun Breaker versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania, but more into that when we get into another video. But yeah, it's a good starting base. So yeah, overall, I like this episode of Raw. I liked a lot of things that we did. Again, the Oba family stuff didn't mind me that much. I don't mind that it came at the expense of the War Raiders, because again, sometimes it's not your night. Same with Dragon Lee and Gunther. The Bella Twin stuff, I probably would have scrapped. I would have liked to see a little bit of the Usos. I heard that they came out during the commercial break. Didn't see it, but it seemed like it was like the same old stuff. But they will be defending their titles next week. Maxine Dupree had a promo on here. We're going to get that versus Natty next week as well. Again, the El Grande stuff. It's just interesting on who they're choosing to be the good guy here. So, again, remaining to be seen on that, but I'm pretty sure we're heading to a mask versus mask match. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on Monday Night Raw. Again, the main takeaway was the main event segment. Oh, yeah! The Women's World Championship match between Raquel Rodriguez and Stephanie Vaquer. Again, I think that Raquel should have won this match, but with everything that we did before, I'm pretty sure we're heading to a triple threat or even a fatal four-way, because, Liv Morgan comes out. She won the Royal Rumble. Dominic is finally back, so let's get him in an IC title program and have him lose that belt immediately. No offense to you, Dom. I actually really like you, but again, you're not really doing anything with that title. Even the first time you had it before you beat Cena again with it, you weren't doing much. So let's get someone else with it, and let's get back to it being that workhorse-type championship. Liv comes out, then here comes Raquel. Raquel calls her out, why'd you eliminate me? They didn't bring up how Liv legit laughed in her face. But again, I guess that's something to remain to be seen. Oh, I just know you're a nice person. You already had your title match, so you would want me to win, right? And then Raquel's like, okay, yeah, sure, but stay in the back. I don't want you coming out to help me, because I want to win on my own, but really, I don't trust you. Then they have this match. Overall, it wasn't for me. Now, granted, these ladies, these props did not want to work with them whatsoever. There was a chair spot where they set the chair at the end of the corner, and then it collapsed, and then they had to call an audible over there. Raquel was like throwing chairs into the ring, and like a couple of chairs just weren't going into the ring. I was like, damn. And then of course the table at the end, where the table just, it broke, but it didn't fall the way that you wanted it to fall. I was like, damn, man, these props just ain't working with these ladies whatsoever. I just felt like there was some miscues in there too. I feel like the match would probably have been better overall if it was just a normal match. But, overall, again, Stephanie gets the win. I don't think Raquel's going to stay out of the title picture. I think she's going to find her way back in. I think her and Liv maybe do have their breakup. Maybe they have a match at Elimination Chamber. Raquel wins, and then that's how she's inserted into the title program. But yeah, again, it was fine. It was just unfortunate with how the match went. Again, I wasn't the hugest fan of it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Monday Night Raw. Again, the main takeaway for me anyway was the main event segment. The Women's World title match was also pretty good too, but I really liked the program before. And again, everything we did after with Liv Morgan coming into play, even though Raquel asked her to stay in the back, and then so did Roxanne. She showed up as well. So we'll keep our eyes out for there. Everything else was, take it or miss it. But overall, I like this episode of Raw. Comment below, let me know your thoughts on this episode of Raw. Leave a like if you made this far in the review. I did greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you. Also, squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.